Permit me to hold your hands when I say this, and I'm going to say it with so much love. Two deals can pay the same fee. Only one of them is still paying you 5 years from now. You see, the fee is one number on the page. The shape, however, is everything else. Most creatives read the number. Almost nobody reads the shape. And that is where the problem begins. Welcome back to the Vibe Lab podcast, where we sit inside the machinery of the African creative economy instead of just admiring it from the outside. I am Ali Oceans, entertainment lawyer and CEO of Creatico, and of course, your guide through the business side of creativity. Every week, we're unpacking one idea that could completely change how you create, protect, and profit from your work. And this month, we're syncing with the Build Lab Cohort 1, our 13-week Creatico program. And of course, this week's theme at the Build Lab is talking about deal structuring, not the fee, not the number everyone circles in red pen before, they read everything else. The shape, the shape. Now, here is the structural problem this episode is built around. You see, creatives get very good very fast at asking one question. How much am I getting paid? Now, they rarely get taught to ask the second question. What is this payment actually attached to? Because you can have the same fee, different attachment, completely different outcome years later. And now start across creatives holding two deals side by side, same number on both pages. One of them built a career, the other one paid the bill and disappeared. The thing is, they couldn't tell why that was even happening, and that's what today's episode is for. We have no guests for this week's episode, anyways, just me and a habit I want to hand you. A way of looking at a deal that has nothing to do with how much math you're good at. So we're going to be answering 3 questions today. Let's get into it. Now, let me tell you how I personally ran into this, because I have to set the table for you. Early in my career, I reviewed a contract for a client, a photographer. Good fee, very great fee, and she was really thrilled about it. You see, I read it once for the money, fine. The number was fair. Then I read it a second time for the shape, and buried inside this contract were things like full rights, all formats, no time limit, no reversion clause. Now, what this meant was whenever she shot, she'd never touch again. Not creatively, not commercially, forever. She had already said yes before she called me, which is something creatives need to stop doing. Stop saying yes before you actually get professionals into the matter. She had already said yes before she called me, and the fee had done its job anyway, so she just stopped reading at that point. But I've seen the exact pattern more times than I could count since then. And this is not because creatives are careless. Please, they are not. Creatives are one of the smartest people on earth. But it's because nobody ever taught them that a fee and a structure are two completely different conversations happening on the same page. So that is where we're starting today. We're not starting with the numbers. We don't care about the numbers at this point. We're starting with every other thing sitting quietly around it. So we're going to be answering some questions, for this episode. Question number 1 is, how do you look at a deal beyond the fee? Now, here's the shift I need you to know. A fee is a single point. One moment, one number, one transaction. A deal, on the other hand, is a shape. It has direction. It has duration. It has a flow. So when I look at a deal, I'm not asking, is the fee fair? Because, it's important, but it's the smallest question in the room. I'm asking 4 other questions. Number 1, where do the rights go and do they come back? You see, some deals are like loans. Some deals are a gift. Most creators don't know which one they've just signed, and they have to know that. 2, how long does this arrangement actually last? Is it until the project ends or in perpetuity? Because sometimes the perpetuity just looks similar to a scheme. They are not similar. They are not similar. They are not. 2, what does the money actually move? Is it all on delivery, all on signing? Is it staggered? Because that timing tells you who's carrying the risk in this deal, and it's not always you. Trust me, it's not always you. And of course, this is the one people skip entirely that I need you to be asking. And this is the one people skip entirely. What does this deal let me do next? Does saying yes here close a door somewhere else? You see, exclusivity does that a lot. So does an option clause nobody explained to you put you in trouble? Because fees answers, what do I get right now? These other four questions I just mentioned answer, what does this deal actually cost me and what does it hand me over time? So that's a whole different shape from a single point to a shape. So pay attention to these four questions if you actually want to answer that question properly beyond the fee. Question number two, what structures compound value and what structures cap it? Now, this is the part I actually want you to walk away remembering because it is the most useful sentence in the whole episode. A structure compounds when the work keeps generating something for you after the project ends. A structure caps when the work stops the moment the invoice is paid. Now, let me make that concrete for you. A capping structure looks like full rights, one payment, no reversion, no royalty, no residual. You did the work, you got the fee. That's the entire relationship, beginning to end, contained in one transaction. However, a compounding structure looks like you retain something, a royalty on future use, a reversion clause, so rights come back to you after a set period. You see, a licensing arrangement is better off than a full sale. So the asset stays yours, and this deal is just one person renting it for a while. So here's the part that surprises people a lot. A compounding deal doesn't always pay more upfront. Sometimes it pays less. Yes, for you that is going after money, know this now. It pays less. But you see, it actually would keep still working for you years later, 2 years later, sometimes a decade. A capping deal, on the other hand, even a generous one, comes completely silent the day it's paid. So when I'm looking at the deal shape, I'm not asking which one pays more. I'm asking which one is still paying me something even after I've stopped thinking about it. Because that's a very important question. That's the actual difference between a gig and an asset. So creatives need to learn what a gig is or what an asset is and how these two concepts affect your life and your creative journey. Now, question number three is, what's a deal that shaped the career structurally and what made it different? I'll give you mine since I don't have a guest to hand this question to today. Earlier on, I turned down a larger fee, full payout, one time payment, everything transferred. It was a good number, genuinely good number for where I was at that time. Now, I took a smaller fee instead. It was structured completely differently. Licensed use, no full transfer, you know, a time limit on arrangement, and critically, my name stayed attached to the work publicly for as long as it was in use. Now, at the time, that felt like I was leaving money on the table. I remember somebody telling me, "How? Why did you collect full money? What happened?" My bank account actually agreed with that feeling. It was so crazy for me. Now, what actually happened is that particular arrangement I had, that smaller fee that I took, kept introducing me to people over 2 years. And this is not because I was chasing them, it was because my name was still visibly attached to something that kept circulating. The bigger buyouts would have paid more, but it would be once and then it would be gone, and then it would just go completely quiet, right? But a smaller deal kept working long after I had forgotten I had signed it. And that's the difference in one sentence. One deal paid me, the other deal kept introducing me to my own future. And that's how creatives should start thinking. We cannot just keep thinking money, 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 money. You have to start thinking about your legacy, your future, what will keep paying you, even when things get hard for you. So, one thing to actually do this week, based on everything we've talked about today, is pull out the last contract you signed. I think it's going to be crazy. Pull out the last contract you signed. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. And ask these four questions out loud if you have to, anyways. Where do the rights go and do they come back? Two, how long does this actually last? Three, when does the money move and who's carrying the risks until then? Four, what does saying yes here quietly close off somewhere else? See, you don't need to renegotiate anything retroactively. You don't need to. That's not the exercise, my darling. No need for that. The exercise here is just seeing the shape you already agreed to, because you can't get better at spotting a bad shape in the future if you've never practiced naming one in the past. I mean, yesterday in the group, we were having conversations regarding, deals that our students had actually taken on and all of that. And I heard really interesting, scenarios and deals that our students have taken. And then the question remains the same. This is obviously in the past. What would you do differently? What would you redo differently if you had about to take the same deal again? And we had really amazing responses, because that's how you practice. You must figure out what had gone wrong in the past so that you can do better in the future. So you can't get better at spotting a bad shape in the future if you've never practiced naming one in the past. So pick up that contract and do that. Now, one thing to hold from today's episode is the fee is what a deal pays you once. The shape is what it pays you or costs you for years after that. You see, structural literacy is knowing how to read a shape, not just a number. And it's what turns a good gig into a career shifting move. And it also is what turns a good sounding fee into a very expensive mistake 5 years down the line. So you have to pay attention to this as much as you can. Deal structuring is a very big deal. So next week on the Vibe Lab, we're moving from evaluating the deal to actually being in the room for it. We'll be talking about negotiations, how creators work in already conceding grounds before anyone says a word, and how to work in differently. This has been the Vibe Lab podcast. I'm Ali Oceans. Go look at the shape and not just the number. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Creatico and the Build Lab. Follow us on all social media platforms. We're definitely dropping the link to that in the show notes. I'll see you guys next week. Take care of yourself and keep creating. Bye.